Hello, everybody. I got a little worried. I got down here and it said, you are not connected to the internet. Luckily, I have my IT man right upstairs, and he always finds a way to fix it. So hello, everybody. Let me get a drink of water. I'm thirsty all of a sudden. So how have you been? What's new in your neck of the woods? That just reminds me of a weatherman. So hi, everybody. It is so good to see you. Thursday, February 24th. In 4 more days, this month is going to be done too. What is that about? I want somebody to explain me why the older I get, the faster time goes by. I'm trying to fix my hair. I think I put too much styling gel on it, and what a mess. So anyway, it is good to see all of you, and I can't wait to show you this snowy landscape. It's working out pretty good, I must say, and so I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Oh, okay. Let me put this. I was just messing with a little something. Now that time's over. So before we get into our snowy landscape, I want to show you several things. And to tell you, I cleaned the house this morning. So I've cleaned the house, and that means dusting, straightening, number one, because I tend to be messy at times. Straightened it, dusted it, dust mopped the wood floors, and then vacuumed the rugs. And cleaned up the kitchen and did a little bit of cleaning in the bathroom. I'm tired now. So if I fall asleep, would somebody just kind of poke me and wake me back up? But anyway, it feels good to have the house clean. And I know when I finish this tonight and go upstairs, it'll feel so nice. My daughter brought our Polly dog, her dog Polly, over. My daughter is going this weekend to a dance competition, exhibition, something like that. And so she brought Polly over just a little while ago. So we're excited to see our Polly. My daughter's brought me some things. I think that my daughter might have dyed these or something, thinking her aunt might want them for knitting. But look at what I've got for future quilts. You know, I'm always, hey, give me your little tiny bits of things, because we quilters know something as small as that can make the world of a difference in our quilt. So I have a feeling my daughter dyed these bits of wool that she had. Oh, look at that. These are earth tones, and they're going to be wonderful. Okay, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Look at some of these earth tones. Can you imagine if you pulled this out and laid it on the sky for a sunset? Ooh, that's got me thinking. So I'm so excited. Thank you, my girls, for seeing this got to me, because you know I use it. I love it, love it, love it. All right. So I wanted to show you that. That just came to me tonight. I can't wait to use it. Then I want to show you, I have been working on my Alex Anderson. Hold on one second. Let me do something really quickly. I've been working on my Alex Anderson hand embroidery. So I want to give it a little light pressing, because after I've had it in the little hoops, it gets kind of messy, and I'm kind of tickled with it. And I found 2 books that were written in the 80s that talk about hand embroidery. So today I've been looking at YouTube, and then I've been looking at pictures that other people are doing. But one thing I have found is when you do hand embroidery, really helps to learn the stitch. You can try to do what you think will give it that look, but you might be doing it a way that's a lot harder than it has to be. So I don't think I'm going to get this perfectly ironed, but I just wanted to get some of the wrinkles that the hoop, because I've been using this size hoop, a 5-inch hoop, and just doing one circle at a time. I saw Alex talk about that, and I thought, ooh, okay, I'll try it. Now, she doesn't use these. I'm in love with these. These are so easy to use. So, are you ready? Here is where I am now. So those are my bottom ones. Here is this top one. I wanted to thank Charlene Lawson. When I told her last week that these white and peach stitches were not showing up, she said take a different color and outline them. And I did, and now it makes all the difference. And I'm real excited. This is my newest outside border. I'm so excited about it. So it has a lot of yellow. It has a lot of yellow from the chalk pen, but I'll make sure that I get that off. But I'm having fun. I tell you what, by looking at the age of the books and that I got them in the late 80s, it makes me realize it has been 30 years plus since I have done hand embroidery. So it's good to kind of get caught back up. I am anxious to see who is here. Oh, I see Betty Middleton. Jeannie. Hi, Jeannie, sweetheart. I hope your back is feeling better. Hey, Rose. There's Marcia. Charlene Piper. Hi, sweetheart. Dolores, how are you doing? Can you give us any update? Or if you want, you can drop me an email later and I'll let everybody know Sunday, because we want to make sure that your knee is healing. And as soon as you're able to put some weight on that foot and start the physical therapy, let us know, because we really do kind of care. We care. And I've been trying to keep the weeks in my straight in my brain. So I think maybe have 2 to 3 more left. But I tell you what, I know nobody knows how much time you have left like you do, because I know you're counting down the minutes. So, okay, so Dolores is here. Polly, hi, Polly Thompson. And Betty Middleton. Oh, this is so good. Oh, wow. Oh, Mona Serp. That's nice. Hi from Florida, Mona. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, my daughter's going to Atlanta, Georgia. They're going to have a salsa dancing competition expo. She loves it. So I hope she has a wonderful time. All right, let's see. Mary's here. Well, it's nice to meet you, Mona. We're happy to have you here. So, it's so good. So good to see all of you. Okay. So besides working on the Alex Anderson, I finished doing the repair stitches. You know that I'm starting a new metallic paint art quilt. And this one's going to be in the Dahlia pattern, but I'm calling it Swirling Feathers. And I have the pattern. In fact, who on here, one of you already has the pattern. I've forgotten to put it on the site, so I'll do that tonight. But I made a pattern up. What did I do with here's the pattern? Well, this is the big one. Let me see. Here. This is the one we actually used. And so here is, it's like a giant dahlia. And all those little swirl spaces will be filled with feathers. So I do have this already scanned into the computer, and it's free, and I can shoot it to you by email. Make sure if you want that pattern to email me at our time to quilt at whoops, gotta put my glasses on. I say that every week. TWC.com. So now I will put it up tonight on our group's IO, but if you're not a member of that yet, send me an email and I'll send it right to you. So here is the quilt so far. What I've done is I made sure to repair any places that were needed thread repairing, and then I took off any wayward stitches, and then I washed it because I wanted my fabric to be open to the paint. And I had been messing with it and touching it and crunching it so much. I wanted it nice and clean. So I washed it in the kitchen sink with some Blue Dawn dish soap. Then I wrung it gently but firmly and then hung it up to air dry. Then I just lightly went over it with an iron. It got out most of the blue marking chalk. And all I've painted so far is the center. But there it is. And let me tell you, it takes so little paint. I'll be painting all kinds of things. I have tiny little cups with nicely fitting lids. And like the purple, I mixed up a half of a cup. I still got a quarter. I've got half of that left. So make sure you find containers. I would get little, like from the dollar store or Joann Fabrics, wherever you can find like little bead containers. I mean, these are small. And so I can't wait. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my surrounding feathers in rainbow colors. So I'm so excited because that's fun. I sit in my recliner. I have a lap desk that I put at a 45-degree angle. I have my little cup of paint. I have my little paintbrush, a little cup of water, and a paper towel in my hand. And another thing that I do, I talked about this last time, is the more of the white background you have exposed, the bigger the chance you're going to accidentally spill or a little dot or something on it. So what I do is before I get ready to paint a certain area, I fold the rest back. And that way it makes it a little easier to paint the area I want, and it helps it have less exposed that could be spilled on. So, and I'd already quilted it. There's the back of it. So now's the fun paint time. So that's great. Oh, Jody's here. Oh, good news. I do not have COVID. I did my test and it came out negative, but it was positive that we did the test correctly and I'm negative for COVID. So we just must have had some little cold bug. Thank goodness. But anyway, Mark's got a little bit of that bug now, but it's not that bad. So, but thank goodness. Whew. Okay. Dolores is hobbling around with a cane. She started last week skipping the therapy because of the cost. Okay. I'm sure you know what your body can do, and moving around. Dolores, from what I can tell about you already, you're a very self-driven, self-motivated woman, and I don't think much is going to hold you back. What do you think? So I hope that. Oh, well, you keep doing good. If you need any inspiration, you just let me know. I will be your inspiration. Get going there, Dolores. Get going. Step faster, higher. I'll drive you nuts. When I had my kidney removed, Mark had to get me up and, hon, you got to walk. You got to walk. And I did not want to walk. I thought I'm comfortable. I just want to sit here. And he's like, hon, just walk down to the end of the hall. And he's right. I mean, you have to move it or else you lose it, right? So anyway, all right, everybody. I'm thinking, did I catch up with everyone? Cass is here, Miss Cass, and then our Jody. So I'm so glad to see all of you. Let's now turn and see what I've got to show you. I worked on it yesterday and some today. And, got the exercise bike. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, it is so good. I wish you good job for getting the exercise bike, and keep it moving so it doesn't freeze up on you. You know, we know how that is. We hear so many people saying their shoulder is now frozen, and I know you don't want that to happen, but how wonderful you can actually walk now. I just thought I would show you this cute thing. I have kept this for years. It was a prize, I think, in a Happy Meal from McDonald's back in the 80s. It's a Flintstones cup. Is that cute? So I'm using that for my paintbrush washer tonight. All right, let me get this let me turn off my iron. I don't think I'm going to need it. And move this over. All right, so here it is. And ta-da, looks pretty much the same. Do not worry, because I didn't want to put the parts on until I was with you, so that you would feel like that you really knew what I was doing. So now I can't wait. I'm going to find places to use these fabrics. I get so attached to the fabrics. It's like I want to use them. All right. So here we are. And, I bet you I didn't bring it, but here it is. I showed Mark what this is going to look like when I have used the tool to imitate the fireplace smoke. So are you ready to see something so cool? Look at what this is going to look like. Isn't that awesome? Oh, okay. To use your paints, this is easy. Find Textile medium. You can get small bottles from Michael's. You can get it from Amazon. It's called Textile medium or fabric paint medium. Okay? And I would do that. Some people, when you're using Inktense, you can just use aloe vera gel, something like that. But with this fabric painting, I would definitely get Textile medium. What that does is it transforms the paint, the acrylic, into permanent, flexible, washable paint. If you just use the acrylic paint's just going to sit there and you could scratch it off. But this helps it become flexible, helps it really sink into the fibers. So use that 50-50 with your acrylic paint. And then that turns it into and so what I do is I have a little cup and I mix 50% of this, 50% of the acrylic paint, mix it up, then paint it on. When it's fully dry, let me find my pretty thing here. When it's fully dry, okay, and I've painted everything. Once I finish painting everything, it's nice and dry. And look how soft. This is that small bottle that Lisa Capon, the kind she likes, and it is nice and soft. But what you're going to do when let's pretend, hi, Cheryl. Oh, I bet you love spending time with them. So when this is fully dry, and you just, Mary, you just paint it on and you paint it slowly. It's very calming and soothing. And let me find a dry brush here. So pretend this has paint on it and you just kind of come in here from the edge like this. You do all the edges and then you come along with long strokes. And the difference in painting on this, I don't think so, Marcia, but that's why I love you. And but you just make sure what you're doing is making sure you're really getting it into the fabric. So you take your time and you just little bit of paint at a time and you're rubbing it in. If you need to add more, you can add more. But it's very peaceful when you do this. In fact, Lisa Capon has got a hummingbird thing she's doing. It was supposed to be a painting quilt, but now I think she's using fabric on her own. But I think I'm going to download and paint it because I'm having so much fun painting. But anyway, but you just kind of you just do it slowly and thoughtfully, staying in the lines. Now, let's say you accidentally, because that happens, if you accidentally get it past your sewing line. I'm going to zoom in here a little so that, okay, so I did the quilting first, okay, right along here. Let's say you get some of the paint on that line. Then you can use the end of your paintbrush, but I love a bamboo skewer. I'll come in here with, most likely, I'll use this end, the little square end, and I just come along and rub it along, wipe it off. I kind of wipe it on my hands, but I just rub it along like that. It takes the paint off. You have to do it right away. And so it's that easy and just enjoy it. But I see how soft this is. I'm really enjoying that part too. And let's say you don't like a certain color. You can wait for it to dry, paint right over it. I just thought I would show you my latest boo-boo. That boo-boo came from a pair of shears, my new ones upstairs that have this really, really tiny thin point, and I accidentally stabbed myself with it. So, when we do the things we love, we really give for our art. Blood, sweat, and tears. But the thing I love is Mark will come say, oh, he'll bring me some medicine and he'll bring me some antibiotic ointment and a Band-Aid. So that makes it so much better. All right. But anyway, Mary, I hope this has helped you. And, it's so nice because I'll switch from this to, I never start one thing and work on it all the way through. I have a short attention span. So this is something to just relax and put my feet up. And today after cleaning the house, I put my feet up and relaxed while I worked on this. When I go up after this show, guess what I'll be working on? Yay! All right. So, and I'm proud of myself too, because I had to be very patient. Very, very patient to go through the drawing it on process, the quilting it, the taking out the wrong stitches in it, each step, washing it, waiting for it to dry. All right, so here we go. But yeah, if you have any questions, you give me a holler, but it is fun and easy. All right, so this pretty much looks the same. You'll say, well, what's changed? Well, let me show you. This time I cut the pieces out, but didn't put them on because I wanted to show you. I took a fabric. Let me find it. Oh, I didn't think about this. But I took a fabric. Oh, boy. It's way down here. Hold on. Well, might be too far down there to find it. I have this huge, look at this huge tote bag full, because I just fill it full of anything I think might work. But here I just have a pencil to draw the pattern on. This is my fabric medium. All right, where is this fabric? Here it is. There's a reason I'm going through all of this. But I was working on this upstairs because the weather's gotten cold here. And I wanted to be up where it was warm. All right. There you go. I love it, Dolores. And I had not cleaned the house in 2 weeks, so mine needed it. All right. So see how it looks like a trees in the forest? Well, what I did is I liked the way this looked along here, so I simply cut along here a long strip of this, and I liked that it had a snowy background because that would just make it look natural. So I cut that out, and then what I did is I got the one I used for the house. I got this fabric that I used for the cabin over here, and I cut a thin strip. And I tried to make the bottom more straight looking, but the top I tried to make very slightly undulating. Then I put a little cap of the back of it. See, that's the fabric. I used the back so it was whiter. And I put this here. Now you'll notice if you got a pattern that this fence has now become bigger than it was in the pattern. Okay, here's my pattern, and here was the fence in the pattern. And the reason I made the fence bigger, because you can see through, I made it 50% bigger, is I wanted my bird to be bigger. And nope, not puppy paint. And I wanted, here's Miss Polly. Can you say hi? Yeah, she's a good girl. So, okay. So I took this and I cut it and used it for the snow that has accumulated on the top of the fencing. And I wanted to make it big enough so that it would look like you're kind of close to this and you're looking at the cabin beyond. Does that make sense? Laura, hi, sweetie, yay. So now that I like this, and see, I kind of made it a little bit crumbly, guess how I'm going to put my cardinal on here? Because I'm going to put a cardinal right here. I think I'm going to do hand embroidery with floss. I'm thinking about it, and I think I'm going to couch it. I'm going to make him look puffy, a little three-dimensional. But I thought, how do I do a bird and make it look like he's got the feathers? So, but, you could have used this for the fencing or the back of it. But I thought this looked pretty good. And remember when I tell you, use the front and the back of fabric, because each will give you a different look. Okay, so let me put some good old-fashioned school glue on here. I buy school glue by the gallon, much, much cheaper. And I feel so rich. Every time I go back in the room to fill up a glue bottle and I pick up my big gallon of glue, oh my goodness, the 5-year-old part in me says, yay, you are rich. So now I'm going to flip this over. But what I did is I started with the post, laid them out. Then I put the cross pieces on them. Then I put the snowy tops on everything. So this needs to move down just a touch. Oops. But I just did this with glue. I just used school glue and put it together without gluing it down because I wanted y'all to see me glue it down. So what do you think? Your fence with just brown fabric is absolutely fine. If I can use, it takes a while to develop a landscape stash. And by using parts like this out of it, it gives it some age, it gives it some texture. Okay, so let me get in here closer. But see how using the textured fabrics just really, it gives you that something extra. So when I look at my fabrics, I don't look at them. This is supposed to be a big bark. But if you turn it this way and you cut it thin, this could become a weathered fence rail. You see? So when you look at fabric, one of the reasons that I do this with you is for you to be able to look at your fabric differently and make your fabric work for you. And as you collect your fabrics, you can do more and more with them. Remember when I put some of the brown fabric, in fact, I think it was this. Remember when I put it over here and it was just too much? So then I took some thinned white paint and covered and whited, kind of just paled it out. And I think it looks so much better that way. All right. So now I started work. What I have left to do, most of the work with the trees is going to be with thread painting. I want some branches and trunks to peek here and there. I want some layering of branches to give it that good spruce look. I'm even going to thread paint on these wooden parts of the trees because I can do shadowing if I want. I can make it look even more textured. So I'm going to do that. But now the other big part that I had to lay in was this stream. So here is what I just started work on this stream. And I wanted to show you what I've got here. Oh, and real quick before I show you the stream, remember how that my sky had turned very green? Well, I kept looking at this and I thought, if I have to replace this whole piece, because I didn't want a seam up here to show, I would have to carefully try to peel off all these pieces of the tree. So I took some bleach cleaner, sprayed it on a dampened white towel, and I rubbed as much of the color off as I could get. And I may go back over with a little bit more of the orange or the yellow, but Mark said for right now, I love just like it is. But see how it's better? So never be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes give you an opportunity to be more creative and fix it. And some people would say, never use bleach on fabric. Oh, yeah, you can. You can do anything you want. This is your quilt. Hi, Linda McCollum. This is your quilt, and you can use bleach if you want. Now, I made sure that I rinsed it out as good as I could and kind of scrubbed it out. What you can do is use hydrogen peroxide is the anti-bleach. So it will stop any bleaching process. But I just rinsed it out. But now it looks so much better. It had just gotten so globby and thick. I had put too much Inktense on there and it got worse and worse and worse. If I had it to do over again, I wouldn't use the Inktense pencils. I would use these blocks because I would just simply make a wash by wetting the paint and adding some medium or water, just make a light watercolor wash to wash over that. So that lesson learned. All right, so now let's look at what I've done down here with, and I try to tell you all my mistakes because maybe you'll make the same mistake. And if I can help you and help you figure out, well, now what do I do? Then I feel like I've done my job. All right, I wish I had printed out this, but the main thing I found is the edges, the banks around the water feature look very white because it's usually kind of built up. It's a little thicker right at the bank, and your edge of the water up close is very dark. And I'm going to, let me see, what did I do with, okay. So what I'm going to do, and I bet you I'm not going to be able to get this open. Oh, I did. Yay for me. I used all my muscles. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how some of these things will start to develop. I have come in here with Inktense, and I have very lightly drawn in some shading to give some character. Let me pour some of this into this tray. Don't dip into your jar because you will end up transferring some of the color to it. And then that's not good because then you will end up putting color where you don't want it. So, and don't over rub. Sometimes I do that. You just want to wet the fabric and let it bloom. Okay, so this is what it. Okay, thank you. So anyway, now I told you about the edge that the snow meets the water is very dark. So I came in here with Inktense, and look what I did. So you couldn't see it before, but soon as I put the solution on, the Inktense pencils blossom. Now, for some of you who might not know what I'm talking about, here are the Inktense pencils. The container now has a whale on it, but it's by Derwent. It's an English-made product, and it actually has dye inks in the pencils. So when you, let me show you. Okay, over here on the edge where I'm not going to, it'll be cut off or in the seam allowance, I can color with this orange pencil. Watch what happens when any water or gel medium hits it. It blossoms. And so that's why. And once you heat set this, you put a pressing cloth over it, and then you press it, then it is heat set. It is permanent. The reason I like using a textile medium, you can use the same textile medium you do for mixing with the acrylics and painting. A reason I like doing this, if you just use water, then it tends to wick into the rest of the fabric. If you use, in fact, let me show you that. I will show you how it does that. And that way you will see, yes. And also a textile medium helps it to remain more vibrant too. Okay, so now up here in the seam allowance, I'm going to use this beautiful fuchsia, okay? Now I'm going to take and paint it with just water and show you the difference. Okay, so I put the water on. It's nice and bright, but what you'll notice is right away, it's already started. Let me get you in here to see this. Oops. Do you see what it's doing? it's wicking into the dry fabric. Well, unless you want that, you don't want that. And you notice here with the fabric, whoops, let me get my camera. Where I've used the fabric medium, it hasn't wicked. See that? But over here, whoops, hello. Over here, look at how all the wicking it's done. Whoops, come on down, Deb. Get it done there. Okay. I'm not good with the camera tonight, but look what it's done. You see that? Not good. So if you want it to have a watercolory spread look, then just use water. Otherwise, get aloe vera gel, or I like best the liquid fabric medium. Okay. And I love this Golden Threads paper because I often come, sit it here, and look to see if everything's lined up. Whoops, I forgot. I want in close. I like to put it, and you see, I can follow and make sure I've got things in the right place. That still means I can change them. That's not a problem. But I'm going to be using some of this. I'm going to be using Inktense on some of the trees. Okay, I will show you this. Let's say, how do we put some shadowing on the trees? Well, there's a pencil called Bark. Oh, and let me tell you, if you want to buy these pencils, but the price is so high, go look up Jerry's Artorama. Let me write this down for you. His prices were much better than I had seen. So, Jerry's Artorama. Okay. Jerry's Artorama. Check him out because I happened to be looking at his sale ad the other day, and I always look up Inktense, and they were cheaper. So, look, Jerry's Artorama. All right, so I'm going to come in here and show you some more things. All right, like here, this is going to be the willow tree. So it's going to be a weeping willow because they love growing by water. And so you'll see I just took the brown color and started doing an umbrella of branches, so to speak. Okay. So I did some of this, but I wanted you to see the effect once I started doing it. Now, this is just the Inktense, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use thread painting also. And that way I'll use slightly different colors of threads. I tell you what, Bonnie Langenfeld, I highly recommend you check out her website. She has the most gentle, realistic hand with thread painting, or as she calls it, thread sketching, and very gentle hand. And I'm really impressed with her work. Okay, now let me make sure whoops, I didn't have this quite over enough. Let me pick this up, move it a little bit closer to the edge. I wanted it to kind of be the farthest right thing here. So, and I just have this barely glued together. So, but that's okay because we can glue it down any way we want. I love when you cut like fabric branches. The fabrics, because of the bias edge, can be spread out how you want them. And I may cut these just a touch shorter. I haven't decided, but I'm going to have lots of weeping willow branches hanging here. And I like because you can see through them too. So now I was telling you how you want a pretty white edge to the stream. Then I noticed that the water on this edge looked pretty dark. and it had some spots that were darker than others. And most of the time it was because of plant life that was growing in the water. Then I wanted a medium piece. So that is, this medium piece right here is this. And I just cut out this part, the blue and light gray that I wanted. Jerry's Artorama. So you had it right the first time. Very good. But definitely check him for Inktense blocks and pencils, because they are expensive, I have to admit. I always feel bad when I tell you about them, but honestly, guys, they will become a main part of your multimedia work, because they are so helpful. They cover so many areas when you're trying to create a really good art quilt. And don't worry if you see some of my edges want to curl up, because when I'm done with this, I'll give them a good press. And you know that I use invisible thread to zigzag everything down. You can use clear for most things, or you can use the smoky for the dark areas. So the one thing that I don't like about Inktense, I tend to have a heavy hand. I may come in here to give some of the shading. I might do it with using the Inktense blocks and making a little puddle of watercolor. Come in and do it that way, because I don't like the lines and they're a little bit too definite. Now, what I do sometimes to help with that is take a brush and kind of scrub it just a wee bit. And that's another way also of getting off. If you've put too much Inktense, take a rag. The green will not run. I've washed it a bunch. But just take the rag and rub off. Once you've wet it, rub off anything excess. But just be careful. If you do too much scrubbing, you will get it. It will look muddy. All right, so this kind of changed. I got to move this back up into place because I had it here and then drew the grasses and all. So what I wanted to do is have a definite black edge. Am I going to do some of the grass twigs at the bottom of the center trees? It would help seat the trees. Yes, I definitely will. Right now, I've got some snow at the bottom, but I've got to be able to outline it so you can see it just a touch. And like here on this one, I've got some of the grass, but I need to figure out what do I put here, because I do have the snow, which helps to anchor them. I'm hoping if I can come in and do a little thread painting and try to really help these look like they belong. Now, here is another good thing. I use a dark blue, if I can, and kind of come in and give this little snow that's piled up at the base of the tree, give it a little, do you see how it starts making everything look like it belongs there? The one color that I like best was an indigo blue. It's almost black, deep indigo. Here we go. Now watch as I start to, and you've got to use a very light hand because you'd be shocked. It doesn't take much. Now come in here and you'll watch the color just start to bloom. But now see how that kind of, it's like, it's meant to be there. And then a little thing like the snow on the top of this birdhouse, just come put a little shadow line on it. And then come in here. All of the Inktense really will give depth and texture, really make these things, make them sing. So that's the beauty of Inktense, is the before and the after. Okay? Now, I'm going to want to put some little highlights on this. And I'm going to do that with a white acrylic paint, because there is a white Inktense, but I got to be honest, it's hard to get it to really show up. It's the blue shade. Thank you, sweetie. In fact, okay, let me tell you some things I'm seeing. I want to have a little bit of texture or swale lines here. I've got some with fabric, but I need to emphasize them. And the best way to do that is, where's my deep indigo again? Take my deep indigo and put it, here is a paler swale. I'm going to call it swale because it's where the snow is built up or the land's a little bit curved. I don't put it on the white part. I put it on the snow right behind the white part. See this? And all of a sudden, when you do this, whoa, look at that. That swale line now really shows up. Now let's say, and I'm going to be coming in here. Sometimes I'll use fabrics. Sometimes I'll use Inktense. But I can come in like this. And then this is a very subtle one. But see, all of a sudden now, you're starting to see something on the landscape. You see a little, like, okay, I'm going to come in here. I'm taking a little light line on the fabric. And look at that. Snow tends to, it can go yellowish, like up here, because of the sunset. I got the white fabric slightly yellowish. Now, here's an area where I'm going to come in with some white, thinned white acrylic. So, because I'll show you, I can come in with the Inktense and really try to rub it on here, because I want to act like that this land is right there is a little bit of a mound. But see, it just really doesn't show. So I'm going to use a very thin down wash of white acrylic. Let me see. I think I have a bottle right handy. Okay, here it is. Here's this white acrylic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on this palette. I'm hoping to. Okay, I've got just a little bit on this palette right here. I'm going to dip in a little bit. I'm going to take it over to the fabric medium and thin it out. And then I'm going to come back. Let's see what this does. I'm not sure oh, let me turn off that light. Let me see. Okay, let's see if I can show you. And that's what I love about art quilts too, because art quilts, the sky is the limit. Okay, so now I've done a wash of the white, and I'm not going to make it darker yet. I'm going to sneak up on this, do it a little bit at a time. But to make sure that you get an emphasis that this is a nice bright white mound, I'm going to come along and darken the base of the trees. Okay, darken this. Then now I'll come in, let me clean off this brush, And just come in with straight medium now, textile medium. And look what happens. So now I'm giving, I've got another light I think I can plug in that might not wash it out so much, but will let you see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So do you see now, in fact, I'm going to come in with some more bark color. I'm going to come in and darken this tree line. Okay. This is helping everything settle in. Okay. Oh, thank you. I tell you what, Linda could teach this class even so much better than me. She is a true artist. But, okay, so now I've gotten some bark color besides just the blue, and I've come in here, and I've come in here to really make sure now having that shadow right along this edge really will help show. Now, I'm going to come back in here to some of the white acrylic, and I'm going to bump this up just a little. And by using the textile medium, you can do this. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is go back to my deep indigo, and I'm going to put another very pale shadow line here, okay? And then I'm going to wipe off, I wiped off the white paint, and now I'll come with textile medium only, and there. So do you see how I'm giving it some depth? Do you see how I'm giving it some presence? I'm going to come back. I'm going to make a shadow at this tree line a little bit bigger even, because I really do like that, and I want it to ground those trees very well. And just remember that to make it look more like snow, make everything have curves. Okay? And now I'm going to get just a little bit more of the white with the textile medium, put it right here. And use your brush and flick the paint on in the curve that you want. So now, since I've got this acrylic still with me, and this right now looks goofy, don't worry about this, because when I come in and start doing the thread sketching, it will join the cloth branches. Right now, I just have it kind of drawn in. But I'm going to come back with this white acrylic and this medium, and I'm going to come up here and bump up this white area, okay? And then I'm going to come up, bump up this one. And you kind of just, you got that, you let it flow off and kind of feather out so that it's not quite so bright. Now, since we've got this line, then the brightest, the best way is you have the lightest color next to the darkest, and look at that. Do you see now how we're getting a feel of movement and landscape? Oops, I forgot to do up here this one, this next one. And if I don't want them all to be the same bright white, then all I have to do is add more textile medium, and it will thin it down and make it more muted. So this is a really good place to put in, where is, okay, Yeah, that's my deep indigo. So I'm going to come and put a little bit right here. This is where I have different color fabrics coming together. But to make them look like it belongs there, give it a little shadowing like that. Let me give some little more shadowing over here too, because what you have to do, don't forget, where is the light coming from? It's coming from the sunset up. Well, let me turn this off. It's coming from the sunset up here. So it's coming this way. So your shadow lines are on the opposite side. So like right here, let some of these lines really come out. Okay. So now, whoops, I better finish gluing that down, huh? But now what we're going to do, let me get some textile medium, and I've done another shadow line right here. So then I'm going to come back in. Let me wipe off my brush, come back in, grab a little bit of the white paint, dip it in the textile medium, and come in here and add that touch of white. Okay? So I think you can see how much movement in landscape. I think we need to do, in fact, you know what would be good is, what? I put these things down all over the place. I'm going to make it look like there's a little bit of a sidewalk, the indentation of a sidewalk coming this way. So then I can come in here with a little textile medium, and it's just the indication, because if you had a sidewalk that had been traversed the whole time, then it's probably going to kind of show through just a touch. All right. So I think we're getting, and I haven't decided what I want here. Although I did draw in, this will pop when I do, this bush right here will pop when I do the thread sketching. But for right now, I blocked it in with Inktense, and this is going to be a little shrub or tree right near the end of the house. All right, so next week, I hope to have some thread painting done, and I will do some more with you so that you feel like you don't miss out on what I'm doing. I'm going to put some glue down here and try to get this poor thing glued down. All right. Oh, and see, I used a stone, but I used the wrong side of the stone. So fabric has two sides. And if you don't like one, look at the other. And see, here's what it looked like before I added this dark edge. Now, once you put this whiter down on top, okay. So I'm still in the blocking stage. Don't worry if there's something you don't like. I'm still going to be working on it. But I'm going to let this glue dry. Now, let me try to hold it up so you can see what we got done this week. All right. Here we go. All right. Here we are. So I need to do some more work on that, because I've gotten the colors blocked in, but I need something that says this is water. And I'm not there yet. But the fencing is looking pretty good. The cabin's looking good. The trees are looking good. Especially, you see how these trees haven't been seeded yet? I've got to do the shadowing around, because look at those trees. They aren't floating as much anymore. You see that? But look at what doing some snow drifts and shadow lines. Look what it's done. It really brings it to life. So here it is one more time. And we'll keep working on it. And I will tell you now, now that it's not totally awful, I will tell you that I have never, ever painted or quilted a snow scene. But I just knew we could do it. I thought it can't be that much different than all the other landscapes we do. And so we're just going to do it. So see, just relax. Oh, I did add a lot of depth. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. So that's what I'm going to continue to do because I want it to look like you could walk onto that site. And so it's going to take a little more work at, seating everything in. This is why I love multimedia. It would be very hard to do this just with fabric. Fabric alone, sometimes, unless you're really talented, can look a little cartoonish or stilted. But when you start adding thread painting, when you start adding multimedia, the Inktense, whatever it is you want, acrylic paint, then you start really making it pop. So I'm hoping that you're learning something on this. We're learning together as we go. But just remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be from you. And, oh, that's great. And I just figured we can do this. We can do it. And once again, I'm going to love putting this white tulle, let's see if I can show you, above the chimney. When that's the smoke coming out, that's going to be really awesome. But I don't put that on till last. Anything like that I'm not going to have it flat. I'm going to have it kind of bunched like this. And it's going to be sewn, but some of it's going to be left like floating up, like three-dimensional. So that's the thing you do the last. I'll probably stitch it down by hand. I cannot quilt over it. I don't know. I'll see. But usually if I add anything three-dimensional, it waits till the last minute. Any questions that you have today? And anything I can help you with? I've got so many things for our next project. We have to finish this one first, but for our next project, I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to teach you how to do batik, actual batik painting, or are we going to work on improv? And I even thought if we did improv, we might do a one-color family improv. All blue, all green, all red, all black. So I haven't decided. I'm kind of rolling these things around. If I teach you batik, I'm going to teach you with soy wax and agenting. And it's a little Indian. It was made first in India. A tool with a little brass cup that you put the wax in and you draw on the fabric. You start with white, and whatever you want to stay white, you put the wax on. And I have a little heating pan, so if I do that, and then you dye it in between, and after whatever you want to stay white, you'll dye it maybe yellow. Whatever you want to stay yellow, you put the wax on, then you dye green or blue or whatever. Blue probably, because then it'll do some green too. But anyway, I haven't decided, but be thinking and let me know. Oh, Mary, great, great. I love us having fun here. I really, really do. This coming Sunday, we're going to be starting our spring project because this weekend is it for February. And it's like, whoa. So it's time to get ready for spring. And then Easter's not until April 17th this year. That's a late Easter. So I tell you what, we'll do a spring thing and then we'll do an Easter one after that. And that's for our Sunday get-togethers, okay? So I love you sharing this time with me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love it when I see your emails come in. And if you request a pattern, I have a pattern. I have this pattern scanned into the machine, and I will very happily mail it to you. And it mails in a file so that it comes in 6 pages. And then you tape them together, and off you go. So I love sharing anything we can do to have fun. Stay warm. Oh, you're very welcome. Jeannie, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to see you. I have bunches of pictures I'll show you this Sunday. So please send me any photos of work you'd like to share. We showed yours, Jeannie, let me get it going again. And I know I'm going to have to put my glasses on, so let me do that. Okay. Here we go. Our time to quilt at twc.com. Oh, thank you, Miss Marsha. You're such a sweetheart. I love that Miss Marsha now is synonymous with our group. When she came in, she was a little shy or quiet, but now she just jumped right in with both feet, and we couldn't love her anymore. So take good care of yourself. And I'll see you next Thursday night. And let's see what progress I can make. And then maybe I'll have a decision about what the following project will be. Take good care. Stay warm. And, who was our new member that I saw tonight? Started with an M, Mona. Thank you. Mona from Florida, thank you for stopping by. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.